A motherfucking yo. This episode was nuts. See, she heard me fucking filming and here she comes. Here she comes. Obligatory cat cam. You done being the star of the show now? Mwah. Like, first reactions. It was definitely the nigga with the dreads. It was definitely the dreadhead that was able to ride Seasmoke, obviously. Girl, my hair's not even done. Oh my god, I'm just coming to y'all rough as shit. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, it was definitely the dreadhead that was able to ride Seasmoke. Rhaenyra and Mysaria having their little lesbian love. Give me a sec, let me eat, and then I'll be back. Okay, let's get this show on the road before the fucking sun sets and y'all can't see anything anymore. So, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Darian, aka LOL Not Darian, on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and comment down below how you like this video, and if you are team green or team black. And if you are team green, you have to explain yourself. Right, so if you hear, first of all, obviously my cat, she's just, being a cat. But also, you might hear some thunder because it's raining. Houston never ceases to rain, and it just never stops. It just never stops. Anyway, you already know I gotta pull out my phone so I can pull up the episode and go clip by clip. Don't know why I didn't have that pulled up already. Fun fact, I don't watch the intros of any shows, like, at all whatsoever. Okay, so the first scene is the Goldtooths meeting with the Lannister clan. I don't know what it's called, the Lannister family, I guess, or the Lannister army. And basically them like saying, we're ready to ride out, but we're not going to ride out until Aemon joins us with Vhagar. Basically, like, we need backup. You want us to go and take over Harrenhal. That's where Daemon is with his dragon, and you expect us to win against a dragon, against a skilled warrior with a dragon? We're not doing that shit. So I don't blame them. But that was the very first scene. Whole episode revolves around two things. It revolves around power, especially in relation to dragons, but power overall. And then the second thing is, well, yeah, I guess it is just power, because I was about to say the second thing is how much the common folk suffer. That's why the episode is really called Small Folk. How much the common folk suffer whenever they are in times of war and whenever they're ruled by somebody who actively seeks out power. So, once again, power is the theme of this episode. Well, it's the theme of every episode, but, like, you get me. It's like always a different topic relating to power, a different struggle relating to power. And this episode is about how much the small folks suffer, but how much power they have in numbers, how much they suffer whenever someone in power does not deserve to have the power and is actively always abusing their power, and just how much the common folk don't really understand, aka like us basically, how we don't understand just how much power we have in numbers. Without us, the leaders, they have nothing. They wouldn't have a country to lead. Without the common folk, without the small folk of King's Landing, Aemon wouldn't have anything to lead and to be a king over. You know what I'm saying? And that's how Rhaenyra and Mysaria understood that, and that's why they went. And but we'll get to that later on in the episode. So anyway, basically, moral of the story: know that you have power. It may be easy to feel like you can give up and admit defeat simply because you're smaller or you don't have as much money, but understand that there's so many more of us that don't have money versus those that do, that don't have assigned power versus those that do. And so essentially the power is within us. Without us, they wouldn't have shit. Remember that. There are power in numbers. There are power in the small folks. More power than you could ever imagine. Because we are the ones that gave them the power that they have. So anyway. So then you see Aemon throwing a fucking fit. And just literally And oh my God, whatchamacallit, Alice said this. And remember the last episode, I said, power is best when it is given to somebody who is not actively seeking it out. The ones that actively seek it out are the ones that are going to abuse it when they finally get it. And Alice said the same thing. And I'm like, my mind, I understand the plot. For once I understand the plot. Anyway, so, because I feel like I don't dissect TV, I just watch it. So I'm happy that like I actually understood it this time. Anyway. Yeah, so you basically just see Amond literally abusing his power at any given moment that he can, to the point that he stripped his mom of her council duties and told her that she would be happier doing more domestic duties. Once again, everybody, let's say it. Amond is a piece of shit. Not only is he a piece of shit, but he's a psychopath. Like, you can be a psychopath and not be a piece of shit. Look at Dexter. Dexter was a psychopath. He wasn't necessarily a piece of shit, though. You know what I mean? He had common decency. He knew how to operate in society. Then you have this fucking eye patch motherfucker. And I guess that's like the price you pay when you give a psychopath power. Because who knows how Dexter might have been if he was like the president of the United States. Oh, yeah, and then when he fucking cut his mom off when she was in the middle of talking, when he cut Alicent off. Yeah, that whole scene, he just literally was abusing his power at any given moment that he possibly, well, this entire episode, that's what he was doing. And it was just like, why would y'all give this man power? So, just as I predicted, just like probably everyone else predicted, Corlys, sorry, I cannot remember his name, Corlys accepted being Rhaenyra's hand. And then Rhaenyra calls in the family member, the distant family member, the distant cousin that she thinks would be able to ride Seasmoke. And I knew it was going to be a bad idea from the moment she called him in. I don't know why. Like, the way they set it up, I just knew she wasn't going to succeed. I just knew that it just wasn't going to work in her favor, just because why would it? You know, why would it? There are very few things that work in Rhaenyra's favor, unfortunately. And this was not one of them. And then the whole fucking council, or not the whole council, but that old ass withered motherfucker sighing loudly as shit, like, bitch, you can go. You can go. Like, you don't have to be here. Like, I know it's fucked. I stand by Rhaenyra when she smacked the shit out of him, because it's like, you have gotten entirely too comfortable with disrespecting me publicly. It's one thing to give me your opinion, and then it's a whole nother thing for you to be like following behind me, fucking badgering me, taunting me, talking to me condescendingly, fucking like while we're at the table and I'm talking about my plant. Like, go to hell, please. You're not far off. So the next scene is Daemon coming face to face with Viserys. And Viserys telling him, like, it's basically him just, like, reliving his, like, sadness of, or not his sadness, I don't know what it is. Maybe, like, his resentment / like, regrets and sadness. Just a bunch of emotions all bottled up in one when it comes to Viserys. So we've gone through Rhaenyra, then we went to, I forgot his first wife's name, but then we went to her and his reservations about her and how he treated her. And then we went to who I think was his mom, maybe Viserys's wife. I don't know who that lady was, but I feel like it was Viserys's wife. It is getting so dark, y'all, and it's not even like because the sun is setting. It's about to storm. Yeah, you see him like basically going through all of his regrets that he had in life and like the people that he trampled on to try and achieve the power that he still doesn't have. And him just kind of coming to the realization about why he wasn't worthy of the power that he sought out so badly. And now we finally got into Viserys and him realizing why Viserys never gave him the throne. He's genuinely losing his mind. I really hope they reveal why he's losing his mind. I think they will. They won't leave that as a plot hole. I don't think they will. I feel like it's Alice. But, like, I don't think he will ever find out that it's her doing it. We as the viewers will find out, but he won't ever find out. And then he started spazzing on the fucking, Lord Strong. And then this is when Alice is talking about how he doesn't ever stick to anything because he's basically a brat. Like, if something doesn't make him happy or if it doesn't go the way he wants to, he runs. He dips the fuck out, just like how he did with Rhaenyra. He went and ordered a hit on a fucking 3-year-old. And then when it blows back on Rhaenyra and he's getting cussed the fuck out, what does he do? Instead of trying to make it right, he just dips off and tries to start his own claim to the throne. Like, you don't know how to fucking lead. You know how to fight. Go be a fighter. Go fight for Rhaenyra. And this is when Alice told him, like, you know, those who seek out power the most are the ones that don't deserve it. And like I said, I'm so happy I actually got the plot. I just be watching shit. So Alice said that she would help him, and she sends an owl to Lord Tully's. She sends an owl to Lord Tully's area or whatever to see what's going on over there. So the next scene, we have the cousin that Rhaenyra brought in, and he is trying to ride Seasmoke, and I was so scared for him, and I just felt so, like, damn for him. You know what I mean? Like, I just knew that it was coming. I just knew that it wasn't going to work out for him. Maybe if I had hope, it would have worked out for him. Not me saying it's in the tongue. It's the power of the tongue. If I didn't say nothing, he would have been able to write. No. Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to work out, and it was, like, really fucked that it didn't. And then that's when the old head started riding behind him. That's when the old head started following behind Rhaenyra. Basically just being so fucking condescending while she's, like, dealing with the fact that she just sent this man to his death. And like I said, I do not blame her for turning around and smacking the absolute dog shit out of him, because it's like, remember why you were invited to the section, okay? Remember why you were invited to the council. You were invited to the council to be my guide, to work for me. Relax. You're not my dad. You're relax, okay? You can give me advice without being a bitch about it. Relax. So the next scene, see, my mind, because I predicted this in the last video. Remember, I said Corlys was going to try and reach out to his estranged son, and guess what he did? And I'm confused. Is the Dreadhead also his son? Or, let me know these people's names. They're the only black people in the show, and I don't know their names. Hold on. So Alan is the estranged son. Alan the Whole. But basically Alan, the bald-headed one, the estranged son that we are sure about, he received an offer from Corlys to come and sail with him. And I was under the impression that he didn't know that Corlys was his father. So color me gagged when I find out that that he actually knew this whole time. I mean, I guess, like, you know, probably he was young, but he was old enough to know, like, that's my dad. Or two, his mom just probably told him, like, yeah, that's your father, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I don't know why I thought, like, his mom would be sworn to secrecy, to not say anything about it and their marriage or whatever. But, yeah, and he literally did not want to sail with Corlys, and it's probably because of their estranged relationship, where Corlys probably thinks that he doesn't know that he's his dad. You could tell that he didn't really want to ride with Corlys, or he didn't really want to sail with Corlys, when he straight up was like, is this an order? Like, do I have a choice? And Corlys is basically like, no, you don't have a choice. Like, you're going to get your ass on that ship tomorrow. But I really hope that they like work on their relationship. But if they do, I can just like see, I can foreshadow, just like I foreshadowed it in the last one, I can see the ending near for Corliss. Hopefully that works. Yeah. Okay, great. So okay, so the next scene, you see the common folk of King's Landing literally starving, and they're discussing how Aemon is abusing his power, how they are in the castle, in the palace, just living la vida motherfucking loco, eating all the meat they can afford and stuff their face with. Well, they can afford all the meat, but eating all the meat they can stuff their fucking faces with. Fucking all the bitches that they can fuck and getting all the money that they can get. Just, you know, fuck bitches, get money, eat some food type shit, and everybody else in the fucking village or kingdom is starving. Oh yeah, so this is the scene when Rhaenyra slaps the dog shit out of that old man, and she told him, remember why you were invited to the section. Love that. Mysaria is like one of the best advisors. Well, no, she probably all the advisors are great, but she is phenomenal. Straight up was like, you know, no, they're not going to wage war on him, but it is harder for him to wage war against anybody else when his own people are waging war against him. Yeah, she's so smart, and it's most likely because like everyone else that are advisors, they're born into money, and so they don't really understand like what it's like to be a commoner, what it's like to be poor and starving and having to go through a war-stricken country where you are not highborn, where you don't get the first pick of the meat, the first pick of the veggies and everything like that. And so that's where Mysaria excels, because she's been there before. She's been in the gutter before, you know what I'm saying? And so she understands like just how hard it is to have faith in your leadership and in your leaders when you're starving and you see that they're not, you know? And it's the fact that she knows how to, but because of that, she knows how to leverage the hunger that the common folk are experiencing and leverage it onto Rhaenyra's side and help Rhaenyra win the approval of the folks of King's Landing. Like, sure, okay, you know, she doesn't have the army or whatever, but she has the people. And what did we say at the very beginning? The people have power. The people are the reason why any of the leaders have power to begin with. How are you going to be a king when you don't even have a fucking kingdom? And that's like the whole point. Oh yeah, so then you see the foot freak basically trying to grovel to be the hand, to keep his position as the hand. And Aemon just being like, nah, I want my grandpa back. But I didn't really care for this scene. It was just, oh yeah, and then we were told that Aegon woke up. So they finally realized that Aegon woke up. I was so scared for him, y'all. I was so scared for him because I was worried that like Aemon would go in there and try to finish him off. And I think he might like, I still feel like he might do it. I genuinely still feel like he might do it. But at the same time, he might not. He might not. I don't know. I feel like he might attempt to and won't succeed. Somebody will find him and catch him. But I would not put it past Aemon to try and finish Aegon off so that he could keep his throne. Yeah. I wouldn't put it past him. And poor Aegon, like, sure, he's a fucking idiot, but like, he's honestly not that bad. And I've said this since the beginning, like, I didn't think he was a horrible person. I just thought he was a fucking idiot. He was just not all the way there. You know who actually needs to rule, who I know will never want to, if they're gonna like keep it like for Team Green? Fucking Helena. Helena, no, like, anyway, y'all know I'm a Helena stan. Okay, she is like light years ahead of both of her brothers. She's smart, she's intuitive, she is kind, she's empathetic. The only thing she would need is coaching on how to be an actual leader, but she has all of the bare bones that are needed to be the same type of ruler that Viserys was. Out of like, out of the green side, she's the one that has like the most building blocks and the best foundation for being the same type of ruler that Viserys was. Aegon's too fucking stupid, and what do we say about Aemon? He's a fucking psychopath. He's fucking crazy, okay? So, and you see Aemon basically just blackmailing Aegon like, what do you remember? And Aegon just having to be like, I don't remember shit, bro. That's crazy. I just woke up, flesh burnt, leg broken, eye gone. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. And having to be, yeah, he's basically just being bullied by his brother while he's like on the fucking gurney. Like, that's fucking insane. Oh yeah, so then Rhaena saw the remains of a bunch of people, and she realized that the other lady, the lady of the place that they went to, I'm so sorry. There's so many characters. There are so many characters. So if I don't remember people's names, I'm so sorry. But the lady that said that she would take in Rhaena and the kids, Rhaena realized that she had lied to them about not having any dragons, and there's actually a wild dragon there. And maybe it's just me being delusional, but a small part of me feels like Rhaena is going to be that dragon's rider. Just like the smallest part of me. Just the smallest part of me. I feel like she's going to be that dragon's rider. And I feel like they're foreshadowing it. And like, oh my god, if she... I'm just gushing at the thought of it. I really hope that's the case. And I'm not just getting my hopes up for anything. But... I mean, for nothing, but yeah, I feel like she's going to be the rider of that wild dragon. And like, one bad thing about me is that like, if I have a hunch, sometimes I like to Google it to see if I'm right, and I need to like not Google it so I can actually be like surprised when I actually see the scene, you know what I mean, if it does happen. But I definitely feel like Rhaena's going to be able to ride that dragon. We see the scene with Alan and Adam, and they're basically just like confirming, basically confirming that they do know that Corlys is their dad. I don't know if Adam is Corlys's dad. I mean, Corlys's son, or if it's just Alan, because he did say, yeah, so he says, you saved his life. Do you never think about what could be ours, or yours anyway? And so I'm confused why he made that correction. Is he talking about like, are you thinking about like, do you at least think about yourself? Or is it like Corlys is only Alan's dad and they're like half brothers basically because they have the same mom but different dad? That's what I'm a little confused on. Yeah, I don't know. But I know they'll probably clear it up later. So yeah, then you have the scene with Jace basically like calling Rhaenyra out for smacking the dog shit out of that old man. I didn't really care for that scene. He deserved to get the dog shit smacked out of him. Sorry. I'm a Rhaenyra apologist every single time. Jace saying like, we need Dad back. We need Daemon back. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, does Daemon even want to be back? Like, what do you want me to do about it? He's literally off in Harrenhal just losing his goddamn mind. Why are you over here lecturing me? If you're so concerned about getting Daemon back, go hop on your fucking dragon like you did when you went to go talk to the people at the Twin Rivers. Go hop on your dragon and go drag Daemon's ass back to the fucking kingdom yourself. Like, and it's not like she hasn't been listening to him when he says that they need Daemon back. She literally sent somebody to go fetch him. So it's like, what more do you want from her? She already sent somebody. What more do you want from her? So then Miss Saria comes and she gives the great news that their plan has been executed. And what is the plan? Sending fucking food to the starving common folk of King's Landing. We love it. We love it. Brilliant. Brilliant. 10s across the board. 5 stars. Highly recommend. So then you see Alicent sitting next to Aegon, you know, just worried about his health and his recovery. And the Grand Maester basically just has no answers for her whenever she asks what is to come of him if he were to live. It's really sad because I know, number one, she's dealing with, like, I know, like, Aegon won't die, hopefully, but, like, she's dealing with the grief of just change, you know, grieving the change that has happened to her son. And then also dealing with the grief of knowing that her other son did it because he's so power hungry. He's just only worried about himself. I also want to add, remember how I was talking about the parallels that are constantly in every episode? Last video that I recorded. One of the parallels, it's a small parallel, but it's a parallel nonetheless, in this episode, or I guess it could be a reoccurring parallel between not only Rhaenyra and Alicent, but also Daemon, is them just dealing with the guilt of feeling like they failed the people in their lives, feeling like they failed the ones that they loved the most. How Rhaenyra feels like she's failing her son Jace because he doesn't even believe in her as a leader. How Alicent feels like she failed her sons because one of them is virtually on a deathbed. They're still unsure of, like, what's to come of him and his fate. Also feeling like she failed Aemon, and how he's just, you know, an absolute fucking psychopath. And then Daemon, and how he feels like he failed Viserys, his little brother, you know, or his older brother, yeah. But it's just another parallel going on in the show that I think was very beautifully done, and showing how they all process that failure, process that that feeling of guilt, and how they go about trying to cope with it. And then she's also dealing with the internal struggle that a lot of mothers, I think, go through whenever their child kind of deviates from the path that they set out for them, especially deviates from that path in a negative way. She's just, you know, trying to figure out where she went wrong as a mother, and if it was her that caused it, or if they were just going to be like that regardless, you know? In this moment, while she's going through all of this grief of trying to figure out whether she was a good enough mother to her children, dealing with the loss of the son that she used to know, both sons, because she never expected Aemon to do something so heinous to his brother. And then the loss of Aegon and what she used to know him as. And her best friend, her father, is nowhere to be seen. And obviously, you know, he went back to their homeland, but he's not responding to any of her letters. She is literally having to go through all of this alone. And I feel so immensely sad for her, because I know it's not easy. And then on top of that, she's dealing with her grip on the power that she did have in the kingdom slipping away as well, by, you know, getting kicked out of the council. Her son, the heinous one, isn't fucking listening to her. I know she's going through so much right now. And she just really needs her dad, not only as, like, you know, she needs a parent to help her get through this, but she needs a friend, and she doesn't have any. And the only two that she did have were her father, that is gone now and isn't writing her letters. She's actually concerned for his well-being, and not even like, you know, is he ignoring me, but like, is he okay? And then fucking Mead Poppy, like, I feel so bad for her. And then I completely forgot that she had a son that she sent to their hometown. I was confused, y'all, because I, like, you know how HBO be taking like 7 years to make a new season. So I was confused if, like, I just missed that part about Dayrin when she had to send off one of her sons to go live in her hometown, or if they just never brought him up until now. But no, I just Googled it and everybody is like, who the fuck is Darren? Who the fuck is that? Okay, so yeah, this just kind of like, I feel like re-emphasizes for her that she just didn't do a good job as a mother, because her hearing about the things about her other son in their hometown being kind and intelligent, she's like, why couldn't his brothers turn out like that? And I feel like she's like quietly beating herself up about it, Okay, so in the next scene, you see the fucking commoners freaking the fuck out. That man beat the shit out of the other man for some food. And I'm like, damn, like, what if he got a kid that's sickly and, just about to die on her deathbed and everything? You done stole the food from him and punched him in the face. Like, that's crazy. But I get it. They're starving. They're not thinking straight. And he's just like, bitch, I need my food. I need my food right now. Let it go, bitch. So, yeah, that whole thing was crazy. And then they chopped that man's arm off for trying to grab onto Allison. She's talking about, no. They said, bro, shit was crazy. Okay, shit was crazy. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? And like, I think the worst part is, it's just like, it's literally the same thing as Alice was talking about. And I think the last episode, in episode 5, when she was saying how the women and children have to bear the burden of war. And even now, you see it on the flip side with Alicent and Helena getting all of the vitriol for the shit that Aemond is causing. They're starving because of Aemond. Alicent and Helena have no, like, power in the situation. They have no say in the situation. Aemond is living la vida loco all by himself, but Alicent and Helena are the ones getting the smoke for it. And so once again, it's the women and the children that have to bear the burden of war, regardless of class. Oh yeah, and then they beat the shit out of that knight. And then you see the foot freak go in to talk to Aemond about how his disability could be his biggest advantage, because people will forever underestimate him simply because he is disabled now. And you see Aegon having, I hope I said Aegon at the beginning. If I didn't, I was talking about Aegon. But you see Aegon having to kind of come to terms with it, but still in the denial stage of like, no, like, this isn't happening to me. I'm going to be able to walk again. I'm going to be able to see, like, this is not happening to me. I will be okay. And the foot freak just, like, basically talking him through it, like, this is your new reality, but it doesn't have to be your end all be all. It doesn't have to be the thing that stops you. It can be the thing that catapults you into being the leader that everyone expects of you. And I think that was like a really, even though he was doing it out of his own best interest, he just wants to make sure that the king, who has already allowed him to be part of the council and be an advisor, he just wants him back, like, in the throne. I thought it was still touching for them to have that moment, even though it was like, Aegon was like going through all the emotions and everything. I like that the foot freak was like basically, I like that the foot freak was basically, coaching him through it. Like, this has been my reality since the day I was born. And I use it to my advantage every single time, because people always underestimate me. And that is always their biggest mistake. And it'll be the same for you. So, yeah, I really appreciated that scene, I'm not gonna lie. Then you see Daemon with Viserys again over his wife. He's just having those hallucinations, and him just crying for not being there for Viserys. Once again, his regrets when it comes to the most important people in his life. Him just crying with Viserys for not being there for him when his wife had died. So that was really sad. And then he finds out Lord Tully died. I feel like Alice killed Lord Tully since she was supposed to be like, you know, aiding him or whatever. When Daemon asked for her help, I feel like that was the help that she gave him, was killing Old Man Tully. But yeah. Oh yeah, and then the next scene, the craziest fucking scene, you see Adam running away from Seasmoke, and we already know what was about to happen, child. I knew it when Seasmoke saw him and didn't do shit. I knew. We already know. Let's say it together. Adam is the writer of Seasmoke. He's the new writer. Yeah. Cool. Glad we're on the same page. Yeah. And so I feel like he's going to use this to his advantage to get Corlys to basically acknowledge them, and not only acknowledge them, but endow them with the with the spoils of his riches that he has from being part of, well, one, he was already royalty, but then also from being a part of the Targaryen clan now. I don't know what to call them. I just call them clans because I watch too much anime. But yeah, so he's about to use this to his advantage. I really am hoping that he does not go over to like Team Green simply because he's jaded by whatever the fuck he's got going on with Corlys. I am like really hoping that doesn't happen, but I could also see that happening. I could also really see that happening, and Rhaenyra lose yet another dragon, and one of her biggest ones. One of her biggest eaters for real. Oh yeah, and then you see the final scene is, well, this isn't the final scene. It kind of is. Rhaenyra and Miss Arya basically going over the results of their plan and finding out that it was a success, and the common folk basically being like, King Aemon or Prince Aemon might have forgotten us, but Rhaenyra didn't, and we're gonna remember that. And now there's like unrest within the King's Landing kingdom, and her and Miss Arya are just talking about that. So then you see Miss Arya. So then Miss Arya finally opens up to Rhaenyra about a scar that she has. And she reveals that her father was sexually abusing her entire childhood and gave her a child, which was really fucked. And I'm not sure if she lost the baby or I don't know. She didn't say that part. And basically her just being vulnerable and saying how after her father did that to her and then abandoned her, she just never had the will in her to trust anybody else. But she trusts Rhaenyra. She accepts Rhaenyra as a guide for her, and basically just trying to lift Rhaenyra's spirits. Like, your son may not believe in you, but I do. I see the type of leader you are. I see how phenomenal of a person you are, and you are the first person I have trusted ever, basically, because she couldn't even trust her father. And so it was a very touching moment, and then it became a very touching moment. Sorry, I had to break the awkwardness, but yeah, they start like, making out. It was very hot. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it just came out of nowhere, but I get it. I get it. Two bad bitches in the room. Like, of course they're gonna, get to getting. But then after that, and let me just harp on that for a little bit more. I feel like House of the Dragons could have did a better job at kind of hinting at the sexual tension between them before it got to this point, because the kiss did feel a little just out of place, because it went from feeling like two friends to just bam, they're making out. And it's like, where was, and I get it. They said, like, you know, I saw like an article about like how they said it was organic, but it didn't feel organic to me. And maybe it's because, and I pay attention to the scenes with the both of them because I actually love their chemistry, but it didn't feel like romantic chemistry. And so for them to just start kissing was very very out of place. Very out of place. I feel like they should have had a little bit more lead up to this, a little more build up. They didn't even have to necessarily have more scenes, but just a little more affection to hint at the romantic chemistry that they were about to start displaying in this scene that we see here. So anyway, they get interrupted by one of Rhaenyra's guards, and he tells her that they see Seasmoke with a rider. And Mysaria and Rhaenyra both think that is one of the Team Greens, but we all know it's Adam. And so Rhaenyra goes and hops on Syrinx and soars out into the sky. And that is where we are left off for this episode. Like I said, I feel like Adam is going to use the fact that he is the writer of Seasmoke to try and leverage a relationship between him, Alan, and Corlys, so that they can actually kind of be a family and they can get the riches that he has been dreaming of for what seems to be his whole life. Other predictions, I feel Aemon is going to try and finish Aegon off. Part of me feels like he's going to succeed because another part of me feels like they're going to bring Daeron in to basically replace Aemon, and they're going to have to bring him in because Aegon is not going to be fit to take his throne back. Villagers are going to get into an even bigger of an uproar, and it's going to basically be a civil war within the kingdom. I feel I see some more hot and heavy scenes between Mysaria and Rhaenyra in the future. I hope they start showing a little bit more scenes outside of physical intimacy that shows their romantic chemistry, so that it feels a little bit more organic the next time that it happens. Because even though, like, you know, the writers say that it was organic, you can't fool me. It didn't feel organic to me, sorry. And then, like I said, Rhaena is going to be able to ride that wild dragon that's in that kingdom that she's in. I definitely see it coming. I see it coming. I feel it in my bones. She's going to be able to ride that dragon. I definitely foreshadow that. I definitely foresee that. So those are all my predictions. I also think Daemon is going to come back to Harrenhal. I mean, not Harrenhal. Daemon is going to come back to Rhaenyra within the next, if not the next episode, the episode after that, he's going to be back with her. But I definitely feel like it's going to be the next episode. He's going to be there, back where she is. Bring the support of Harrenhal with him to help her out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your predictions for the final 2 episodes. We are in the final stretch. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time for episode 7 of House of the Dragons. Peace.